be a sniffly woman.
Well, Donald Trump was sniffly last night.
I couldn't. Well, I for those folks who watched, you were all braver men and women than I. There's just no way. I mean, honestly, why would you watch anyway? They're not going to change anybody's minds.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, that's true.
I mean, no, at this point, it's so divided what is going through there. I find it, a fascinating race that someone who's dedicated their entire life to service has an amazing high bar, and all he had to do was like show up and not be a Neanderthal. It's fascinating. I'm like, nope, can't watch. That's it. No way.
Yeah, it's hard. The whole thing's hard to watch. One thing though that really bothered me, and I haven't hardly. I did see your Facebook post. That's what you said on Facebook last night when the first of the 3 scheduled presidential debates was airing. I can't hardly be on social media right now because everybody is so angry. And what's interesting is I'm watching posts in support of both candidates go flying by, and the insults to the candidates really, in my reading of them, regardless of which one, almost look like insults to the people who support them as well. And I'm thinking to myself, surely I'm not the only person who has friends on both sides of the fence,
family.
So me too. And
it's heartbreaking for me because there are policy reasons that have nothing to do with their individual human beings that I find appalling,
And yet this seems to be getting personal with everybody. Have you seen that too? Kind of.
Well, then again, the politics is personal because when you're talking about a woman's right to choose or what somebody looks like or something like that, you're going after their individual being. Or stuff like that. And, I may not have agreed with a lot of other people, and I voted for folks on both sides of the aisle, but at least it was, I would like to hope that, believe that it was policy-based.
Yeah. It's kind of...
And so the fact that someone can have no policy is a little, and be as far as they go, and I'm like, I just feel so bad for folks like Jim Ramstad and Arnie Carlson and folks like that were really wonderful people. And to watch what they've turned into, and that's on one side. And like I said, I know a lot of folks that, consider themselves more conservative, certainly my parents. And I find, I just went, wow,
I just hope that people can get through this whole thing, without, too much personal relationship damage.
Oh, I think it'll be done, but I think it's a growth period. I mean, you don't think there wasn't relationship damage in the 60s when family members went down to march in Selma and their families didn't like them? There's always a growth period, and human beings generally go forward, but some folks end up grasping to to hold on to perceived slights.
Yeah.
Well, we keep going forward. I see the kids, and I know most, going through there, and they're awesome kids that are under 20, and they're going to be the folks that are wiping our asses, and I think they've got their heads squarely on their shoulders. So I'm not too worried about. All we have to do is just not fuck it up that much, and we'll be fine.
Well, yeah, for sure. The thing that gets me about this among so many things that gets me about this election year is that this crazy election, the craziest in most of our adult lifetimes, I think anybody can agree on that, happens on my 50th birthday. My 50th birthday is November 8th.
Well,
so I'm just saying.
Are you going to go wait in line, or are you going to pre-vote? I'm thinking I might go early so I don't have to deal with my neighborhood, people vote. So there will be a 2-block long line. No one will care.
Yeah.
They'll go stand in it. It's no problem.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, well, I could be one less person.
Yeah. No, there's never tough lines where I vote. So I'm probably just going to vote that day because it, doesn't, I think require more brain power and effort for me to go figure out how to pre-vote than it does just to go vote on the day. So I'm just going to do that, and not, inconvenience myself. But yeah, no, it's just a goofy thing. But being, what I majored in college plus, being years as a news reporter and everything else, I can't not watch that stuff. I can't. And even when I said it, I'm going to turn this off because I actually had other work to do, I couldn't.
No, I have to admit the live tweeting that my friends were doing was a hell of a lot more entertaining.
Was it fun?
I would catch, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The tweet casts are funny. And in fact, I even saw one of my favorite TV commentators actually said that she will sometimes not watch the debate. She just watches the Twitter. And she's like, it's a really fun experience. It's more fun than watching the thing. So this week on the Great Northern Sex Cast, there's really a lot of lingerie in the news.
A lot of lingerie.
Really, so much ado about underwear. I can't even tell you.
It is a fascinating thing. We've talked about it before that Minnesotans or the folks in the Twin Cities are quite practical. I mean, in their underwear choices, even when it comes to the sexy lingerie, we're not a lot of sequins, not a lot of fur, not a lot of feathers. Want to make sure it's easy to get on, easy to get off. That's the important part.
I don't want feathers anywhere near my junk. That's just not going to end well. Oh. I mean, if that's all you're wearing is the feathered stuff, maybe. But if you're trying to wear that under, no.
No. There used to be this adorable little 2-piece open set, we used to call it, open nipples, open crotch, stuff like that. And it had, like some feathered trim on it.
Oh,
and
cute.
that it would come sort of in a grab bag of a whole bunch of other stuff because it was made out of like the leftover bits of the other stuff from this one company. Feather ones are always there. I had to mark them down as lower price than the other ones.
So funny.
To get someone to buy them. But yet, what they loved was there was this old one that was just like a neckline, with fringe on it and then a little G-string. That thing sold for decades. I mean, I think one of the things is it looked great coming out of the box because you grab it and you're like, what is this? And it's just fringe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fringe is great.
It was like 18 inches of fringe. It was like the whole top. It was just awesome. But that stuff's expensive. And at one point, it just got too expensive for the entertainment value that it was for it coming out of the box.
Oh, right on.
Honestly, I said, because it just stopped.
Yeah.
But it was after the one less price increase.
Well, if you've ever bought fringe to put on something, it's expensive. Mm-hmm. It is extremely I won't go into why I had to purchase mass quantities of fringe one time. This just cracked me absolutely up. I have Mouska pants on our outline today because
it's not Mouska. I was thinking it was like Greek food, so it was lingerie.
No, as in Mickey Mouseketeer, Mouska pants. Yeah,
okay.
I was, and don't ask me to break into MICKEY because I can't sing. This is funny. There's a story about they've sort of recycled an old study done on polyester pants and the negative effect on sexuality and potency that it has on men. So, you've heard about, hey, if you're trying to conceive, wear boxers and loose fitting things, don't, get your junk too hot, whatever. But they brought this back up and saying, well, the reason why, Mickey Mouse never had kids could have been because of his pants. And this, I know, it's like, who thinks this stuff up? But this is a Harvard guy, okay? And seriously, his name is Ahmed Shafiq. And, he put pants on 60 lab rats. I'm not kidding. And made them wear the pants for a year. And he just let that visual sink in.
I have a lot of friends in the costuming world and the cosplay world and all that sort of idea. So the idea of them sewing little tiny pants.
Little tiny rat pants. I wonder if they have little tiny rat flies.
Yeah,
I mean, how do they go to the bathroom?
You have a little spot for the tail, and then you got to make room for the knee bend. I mean, there's some engineering there.
Oh, trust me. I believe you. Yeah. So, anyway, he determined that the rats that were wearing pants saw less action when they were wearing polyester. I guess the bone porn thing just didn't work for the female rats or whatever.
So wait a minute. So they had like little denim pants, little polyester pants, little corduroy pants?
I think they must have done, like a cotton breathable fabric versus, the polyester. And this actually made itself into the annals of improbable research. Mm-hmm. But he literally, he did some in 100% poly, 100% cotton, and 100% wool, or a 50-50 blend. And they wore the bun huggers for a year, and they were only changed when the pants got soiled. And it turned out that the different textiles had effect on how much the rats catted around. Somebody actually did this. This is something that's getting tax dollars probably. Okay.
I'm sure that at one point they'll figure, I mean, obviously if you're talking about they had less sex or they had like fewer children.
Less sex.
Okay. Because if you were children, I could see. Because if you were baking your little dudes, we all know, no baking of the testicles. That's bad.
Right.
But maybe it's the noise. The noise that polyester makes when it rubs. I mean, to this day, I cannot wear corduroy because I had a pair of beige corduroy pants when I was like in elementary school, and I just remember the swish fop noise that made, and it was horrible. I have no idea. I see like corduroys come. I'm like, no, this fabric should be banned for pants.
Yeah, not for pants. Jackets, fine.
Oh yeah,
but no
pants.
No, it doesn't lay right. Well, here's what cracks me up. This guy is a real scientist, but he apparently the idea for this, because don't you always want to know like why?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's Egyptian, this guy, Ahmed Shafiq. Okay. And apparently it was a trend in Egypt to wear polyester clothing and go commando. And people were complaining about, sexual dysfunction and that kind of thing. So he actually studied it in rats. So this starts out hilarious and it goes back to really bad fashion choices. So it's still funny, but there was a scientific basis on it. Something's buzzing. What just happened? That was weird.
The whole room is sort of vibrating. Are they like vacuuming upstairs?
Unclear. I don't know. That was really weird, but the table shook.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could hear it, but it is definitely very strange.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, because I'm sitting across the table and Colleen and I both went whoop at the same time. So that was just strange. So Mickey Mouse, and so they put a picture of Mickey in his famous little red button-up pants that look like diapers.
I think it might have more to do with that big weird button than anything else.
Don't you think?
The thing is, Disney doesn't actually have children. I mean, the closest ones are like what Donald Duck's like nephews. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just appear. There's no.
But they're not his, so they're making sure that the implication is that Donald did not have sex and procreate.
Yeah, Donald did. Yeah, no one. Yeah, they just random small nephews have arrived.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So get this. So there's and how I run across this stuff, but again, things happen in clumps, right? I told you got a boatload of undie stories today. So there's a blogger at GQ that came out and said, guys, boxers are just forget it. They were fine in the 90s, but if you're wearing skinny pants and the form-fitting clothes, they're going to bunch up and everything else. And you can't wear boxers. So you're saying boxers are dead and you need to get a nice little pair of sleek black briefs. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, obviously you don't want your clothing bunching up, but I mean, if you're wearing skinny jeans as a guy, first of all, there's a problem. And then they do in fact create, they have boxer briefs, which are the fabric on men, I swear the fabric on men's underwear is so much better than the fabric on women's underwear.
Oh, I know.
It's just, but
yeah.
But I don't know if you want to, if skinny black briefs, you might as well just go commando at that point.
Well, that's what I was thinking. But here's the line this cracks me up from this blogger. You say, referring to boxers, they're masculine, unpretentious. We say they're the uniform of your overzealous teen boy self. And he says they're fine in one situation only, in the morning around the house when you're not seen in public.
What an asshole.
I know.
But the thing is, then again, we're talking about GQ here, who did I'm pretty sure it was GQ that did a whole article on rock climbing. So what they did is they got 3 guys to go rock climbing and then 3 models to sort of stand near them. So another magazine called like Outdoor World or something, this ran across me, they redid the story picture for picture, but with the roles reversed. So the women are doing the exact same things that the guys are doing, and then they found good-looking guys to like lean back with the shirt half done.
Oh God, that's fantastic!
And then they did it like a fashion thing. And so one of the guys is wearing like prom shirt, 1970s, $18.
Oh, God.
It was hilarious. I saw that when I was flipping through stuff this morning. So they went paragraph for paragraph and shot for shot on the photo scene, and they just reversed it. And you just see the guys in these incredibly awkward poses, but the exact pose that the female model was in the other article.
Oh, that's great. That's fun. I've never tried rock climbing because I have a serious fear of edges. So
I can't even let people get near edges.
Right. Okay.
I'm
so you're like me.
No.
Okay.
You have. I mean, if we're too close, no, you just can't go there. Sorry, I'll go hiking and I will see what's no. Yeah, no, I can't. No,
I mean it's amazing, and my hat's off. I mean, it's a very unusual sport, not something that I could possibly do. But one of my boyfriend's really good friends, has the same outrageous fear of edges that I do, and he is constantly putting videos on my wall of things that I can't even hardly open my eye and look at, just to torture me. I think that's kind of funny. Okay, so last undie story, and then we're moving on. Did you know that there was a sequel coming up for 50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah.
Well, don't be so enthusiastic.
I know that millions of people enjoyed it and stuff like that. And there are things that I enjoy that millions of people think are idiotic too. So that's fine. I mean, to each their own. No one, but it gives a very bad, view of what actual bondage is, and that's what's really annoying about it. I don't give a crap what consenting adults do in their bedroom, but it's not. It's just, and then it's just so poorly written. But that's
I couldn't even. The book was so badly written, I couldn't even read it. And
I'm like, but teach their own. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I enjoy flipping through. I mean, I think it's fun to read, turn of last century and previous century cookbooks, and people think, oh God, you're boring fuck. So, I'm not, teach up, but it's and it did. I mean, we sold some more bondage stuff. Other stores sold a lot of bondage stuff. But I'm certainly not gonna run. I mean, I did a whole bunch of promo stuff for it, and I'm like, okay, I'll sort of jump. It didn't really do anything for us because we were already selling bondage stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Maybe in some places where people won't, but Minnesotans once again sort of like to get their bondage on. So it wasn't really new. Maybe that's it. It just wasn't. I didn't see this explosion in sales that a lot of other places did.
Like Target, who sold cute little. I mean, so they had a huge spike because they didn't previously sell little whips.
Yeah, it was. I went by one day, I'm like, dude. I looked at the end cap and I said, "Well, that's interesting." And people are giving me crap, and Target has the. I'm like, oh, come on.
Well, I'm sorry, but if it's made it into Target, it's no longer, hip or interesting or sexy. I'm sorry.
It used to be the thing that people used to just panic about. Cities too, there's a bondage stuff. I said, well, yeah, you can go. I just have it packaged up pretty. You can go over to Home Depot and buy plenty of bondage stuff. It just doesn't have, a couple in a compromising pose on the packaging. But I mean, Home Depot has got it all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd prefer to have something that came via a manufacturer. Yeah. Homemade when it comes to something that I might be strung up by is a little disturbing to me. But, check this out. I think it's funny, too, that so many people with all that is available 24/7 on the internet, that everybody was like, ooh, hee, so titillating. Oh, so, you know what I mean about that thing. But they've already had 114 million views in the first 24 hours for the ad for the sequel. 114 million. Can you imagine that?
I'd love to get 114 million views on something I posted. I mean, I don't. I mean, I have to admit, I'm jealous of that. I mean,
that's amazing, isn't it?
Busting my ass for 37 years to, promote, that this is fun and this is going through there, and and then Hollywood jumps all over it, and they get all the ooh, look what they've done for everyone, and I'm like, I've been doing this for 36 years, trying to promote interesting or choices in sexuality, and they get kudos for it. I mean, they get ripped on it for doing it poorly, but then there's a part about the conversation, and I'm like, we've been having that conversation for decades.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, there's a new lingerie line by Coco de Mer. Okay. That is called 50 Shades Darker. And we'll have the link up. Miss Megan will post that on the Great Northern Sexcast page. And I think that this is great looking stuff. I was looking at some of the pictures. It's uber cool. So you got to flip through
Yeah,
them.
check it out. It's probably way too expensive for us to carry.
It's really, it's, I'm sure it is expensive because of the way it looks, but it's, oh my God, it's high end and it's so clever and it's bondagey, but not, you could wear it under. It's really cool.
That actually reminds me a lot of the package stuff we carry from 7 to Midnight and Hot. And if Liz was here, she'd come up with the other ones that we do have, because this is not something that folks wear every day. And so there's been some glorious sort of strappy body covers and body stockings that are in black and just things with just a little hint of that like black serre to them.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, it's not your basic, when you think of lace or just a sheer, they'll combine a bunch of different things. And the straps, anything with straps, with the underwear that has straps along the bottom, always sells really well for us.
You know what one of the things that was fascinating to me about this Coco de Mer line is that they've managed to make it look different. Mm-hmm. And, that's not easy, Colleen. I mean, because you're not dealing with a lot of fabric,
I could probably, I'm not familiar with that. I mean, it sounds familiar, but it's not one that we buy from. But I bet you anything, if I looked at it, I can figure out who's manufactured for them if they're just a design company.
Yeah.
Because I reckon I can look at anything and go,
oh my God,
I know who's making that.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure it's freakishly expensive, but I mean, oh my God, I want some of it. Mm. So, okay. It's, we're in road construction season. The other season we have here in Minnesota is winter, right?
I almost ran over an orange barrel.
Oh, no kidding.
Driving downtown the other day. Because I'm like, I don't go down. I used to have an office downtown. Driving into the ramps was no big deal, blah, blah, blah. But there was some construction stuff going on. I'm like, am I in the right lane? And so I'm glancing over to my left. And suddenly the person in the car goes, watch out. And there is a massive orange barrel in the middle of the lane. I found out my brakes work.
Good job. Okie doke.
But I'm like, it was a little windy out. And the barrel was in the middle of the lane. And I'm like, holy shit.
You know what? Downtown is, and I know what they're doing. They're trying to get the entire fucking infrastructure of downtown Minneapolis replaced before the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But that makes the depth and magnitude of the misery for those of us who have businesses and homes and things down there. Every time, seriously, it's a new version of hell. And it's bad right now. So I'm not surprised that happened to you. I'm glad you're okay. But the traffic signs that you'll see that you dread seeing, especially on 94, if you're trying to get up north and you see that have the words that change, and it'll say road closed or accident ahead and, stuff like that. And you're like, oh man. Okay. This is the best thing ever. Where did it happen? I can't remember it was Canada, Ottawa.
Okay.
Ottawa, Canada, this happened. What I didn't realize with those things is that they can be hacked. They're programmed via a computer and the internet. Okay. Mm-hmm. How come I never get to see this? Okay, so this one, imagine this. Zombie dicks ahead, ! And then it says, okay, road closed ahead, zombie dicks ahead. And then it would say protect your vagina is the third screen. And then the last one was use condoms.
Oh, Jesus.
How great would you, oh my God, did you get a new phone?
Yeah, I did.
Good God. Is it an iPad that's going to stick to your head?
No, it's the 6 Plus, the small tablet that I had. That we have in the stores. I have a spare. One of them they broke the screen on, so I'm reprogramming it for that. Plus my other phone, the touchpad was going. So my daughter's birthday's coming up, so we both went and got phones, and we got similar phones so that she can show me how to use it. Because I's old, and I have a teenager, and I just make her do shit.
That's smart.
Yeah, if she wants to be fed, she has to make sure that I know how to use my phone.
If she wants to be fed. I think every parent should put that condition on. Listen, you are the in-house IT department. If you want to eat.
Yeah. I know most of the stuff, but a few times I'm like, okay, what am I missing here? There's just like one little step that my brain's not making. Because I'm like, I'm here. This makes sense up until this point. And then, it's that one thing because I haven't had it in my hand since birth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure. So I don't even know how to describe this one. I put the header on our outline today as Octopussy. There is a Japanese model and I've got the link, so we'll be able to post these, who posed with an octopus. a huge, and I am not talking a tiny octopus here. I'm talking one great big thing that had it wrapped all around in places I wouldn't want tentacles or suckers going.
I'm like,
it's really, but they're so freaky that they're hard not to look at. So they did this photo shoot, and there's like 5 or 6 that were in the article, and I'm sure there's probably more out there. But when they got done with the photo shoot, they ate it. Land of sushi, baby. So my first thing would be, do you know where that's been?
No, okay.
Colleen's so upset right now.
I was going to go with yes, you can take a photo with your pet or do something like that. But this seems like one of those things that veers off to the animal can't give consent.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that sounds weird, but if you're doing it, and I'm like, and then you're going to, I suppose,
I mean, it's a Hannibal Lecter kind of deal.
It's sort of, I don't mind most seafood. I eat the squid and the octopus and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not sure that I would plaster it against me and then kill it and eat it.
Look at the pictures though when we get them posted, because they're just freaky. So Nicolas Cage, I forget about him. I mean, he hasn't done much lately, has he? I don't think so.
Not that I know.
No, he's kind of. And I didn't realize that he had a former daughter-in-law, but he is 52, and he has a son who's 25, who's been married and divorced. His name is Weston. It's his oldest son. Okay. So his ex-daughter-in-law, Nikki Williams, I guess, was married to Nick Cage's son from 2011 to 2012. So like they got married in April, and then they got divorced, or they filed for divorce in October, and the whole divorce took longer than the time that they were married. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But she is suing her talent agency because they said that she was, her career got derailed because her manager forced her into having a breast reduction. And the quote was that he was always giving her a bad time about the size of her breasts because they excessively bounced when she danced. And this is the CEO of Chameleon Entertainment. So if his name is Brian Prescott. So if you are a very buxom person who wants, I'm really unclear as to what kind of career she's even seeking. And because it looks like the boobs were a central part of it. So why he would mess with that part of the moneymaker, I have no idea. But so weird to see Nicolas Cage, who has such a storied history as an actor, pop up because his ex-daughter-in-law is pissed about her breast reduction. Hello?
I just find it, there needs to be obviously, talk about clickbait. That would be it, because you don't really, this is just an actress who feels like she got a raw deal. And if that hadn't been her ex-father-in-law, I never would have made it. When they draw folks in like this, it just drives me nuts.
Doesn't it piss you off? Well, and Nicolas Cage, though, too. If I'm him, I'm like, is there any way we can de-SEO that? Like, really? Mm-hmm. Like, why am I even in this?
It's very frustrating.
I called it a publicity stunt.
That's about right. It's the only way she's, I don't know. I don't really know what she's attempting to get from this. I don't know how you, being pressured into looking one way is something that happened when I was younger. How come you're not wearing enough makeup? Why don't you do something with your hair? Blah, blah, blah. And he said, everyone here is going to stop. This is now not a topic of conversation anymore. But if you want to be a performer, it's sort of your deal, your body. I can't even imagine, how much, for men and women, how much waxing there is in working out. It's their job. Their bodies are their job. Part of it, a big part. Yeah. And, there's a certain look and stuff like that. It's getting to be a little bit more color and gender blind, but not just, we're at the beginning of that. Oh, yeah. So I find it interesting that she feels like she was, more than likely she was probably forced into it, but I don't think it was one particular person. It's probably industry in general. Yeah. I don't think she's really going to have. Did you ever watch that show Nip Tuck? No. Oh my God. That was actually pretty funny. And it was very clever in how it really did poke fun at
all of this in a weird sort of way. And I mean, it had some intrigue to it and some other things too, but it was a pretty interesting social commentary on the culture of plastic surgery, and things like that. And I always just remember this whole thing about this little baby. She has thin, villainous lips. So she'll never make it because she's got thin, villainous lips. And it's this cherub of a little girl that's like that they're trying to make a model. You've got to give her collagen injections because she has thin villainous lips. And so now that line pops up throughout the entire, it's hysterical. You got to check it out.
Oh no. Yeah. If someone wants to do something to their body, I'm, perfectly fine with it because it's them and, it's going through there, but if she's really forced, yeah, that's a problem.
It is. Well, the next story is only funny because I do not believe that it involves rape. I believe it is about consensual sex. Now, whether or not it is appropriate, I will let everyone else decide.
Okay.
But there are two...
There's a setup.
Yeah. How do you like that for a disclaimer? 2 San Francisco Fire Department paramedics are being investigated for their alleged involvement in an incident where one had intercourse in the ambulance and the other one helped him cover it up. So somebody has the way this reads, there's no allegation of sexual assault here.
No.
The way it reads was somebody had a fantasy about doing it in an ambulance and the other one had to drive, because you got to get the siren thing and everything else. And now they're in big trouble, which those vehicles are expensive to run.
They're expensive to run. Someone could try and get out of the way. There's a lot of things that could go wrong there. But I mean, kudos. I mean, maybe the person he was having sex with, it was like on their bucket list, and they've got like leukemia or something.
See, that's
and
what I know.
They were being altruistic, but you could have, you got to figure out a place to do it where you're not going to get caught.
Yeah, but it's really hard to get your captain to sign off on that, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm pretty sure.
But we'll wash the sheets.
I'm pretty sure, Make-A-Wish is not, there's a version for adults.
Make-A-Wish.
That's not good. If there's a, grown-up version of that, that was, most of the stuff would probably be sexual, and so it would probably be really difficult to get an organization or donation. So maybe, I don't know. It sounds like something that maybe like Hugh Hefner or Larry Flynn should probably do.
Oh, God. There should be one. Why shouldn't there be a sexual bucket list charity? Why not? I think that's a good idea. Colleen, you just stumbled across a bit of genius, and you don't have to be dying to participate.
No, not at all. Well, I mean, honestly, I think that's sort of what the Bunny Ranch is like in Nevada when you think about it.
Could be.
Honestly,
absolutely.
You just need a GoFundMe page for it or something.
GoFundMe. Well, now
I'm sure it's probably I'm sure it's probably been done. Wasn't someone trying to raise money once so they could go out and date? Yeah. So this is just one more step of being completely transparent.
You know what cracks me up is that some of the most audacious requests like that, there are people that are like, you know what, just because you had the balls to put it out there, I'm going to give you some money.
Oh, the potato salad guy.
Yeah. Tell everybody what that was, quick.
Oh, no, someone just said, I want to make potato salad, and I'm taking donations for it. I'm going to make the, really great potato salad. And he got like thousands of dollars to make potato salad. It was just this absurd thing that he was just probably sitting around, maybe I wonder if I can get money to potato salad. The thought process behind it was almost nil from what I remember. He just, and he got thousands of dollars to make potato salad.
That is so fantastic. Well, if there was an adult equivalent of Make-A-Wish, it might be called hedonism in Jamaica. And I know that Mrs. Sin, one of our swinger guests, who hasn't been on in a really long time, we should call her, has been there and talked about this. But there's an interesting article, and we'll have the link to it for you on the Facebook page, and it's great. I mean, the ultimate travel writer, and I got to give this chick some credit for being willing to go and do this and write about it. And basically, she took her boyfriend of only 3.5 months to hedonism in Jamaica, and they stayed on the all naked side. And the article is good and it's interesting because she talks about, and granted, it is in Self magazine, so it's not exactly, the Atlantic Journal or something like that, Atlantic Monthly. But she talks about what she learned about herself and her body image, which I thought was really good. I mean, I thought the piece was interesting, but she said, oh my God. And it's funny. She's very funny. She's like, oh my God, this is wrong. My vagina's out, as though it walked out of its own accord. I mean, it's a funny article, but she talked about doing, naked yoga and going to tantric sex classes, and that growling like a tiger, it can amplify your orgasm. And she explains that in detail. You can read it. How to explore while respecting limits, and how they got closer and it built the relationship because they were afraid together.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because, I mean, you're not hiding anything. I mean, I just have an issue with the idea of sunburn, sand, and sunscreen in spots that have never hit the sun. I mean, I would prefer to be nude. I mean, I find clothing uncomfortable and I do that. But I live in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And it's a place where clothing is generally, thought of as a good thing.
Yeah.
And so I get that. But I have to admit, it doesn't appeal to me to go to a hedonism or something like that because I'm also just not that public. I mean, I like being nude, but not in public.
Yeah.
Other people might want to be nude in other places, and that's where they can go.
Yeah.
And so but I just
you don't want the banana boat in your hoo-ha?
I've had enough sunburn, even though I've got, darker skin to begin with, that there are just some places that I've never seen the sun.
That's fair.
I mean, even when I used to do the tanning booth, there would be certain places I would cover up because I don't need that.
No. Nope. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. But I like that article, and I thought it was, I thought she did a really good job with it.
Well, it would be weird because if someone, between the folks we've had on a guest here and they explain how accepting folks are in that, I mean, it's just a nice way of like, if you're curious, here's another resource.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, Miss Meg found another interesting sexologist, sex therapist sort of person that's local that I've got a line out to come and be. He really has some very, very interesting areas that he dabbles in. And so yeah, we will possibly have another guest of that ilk, and we'll rotate some of the experts that we already do have back in periodically. But yeah, we've got some really interesting things. And if anybody has a suggestion of someone that they'd like, think that we'd like to have on the show, please go ahead and Facebook us. We'll get there. Fantasies. So this was sexual fantasies were looked at by Cal State Fullerton and the University of Vermont, and they pulled data from a Czech study, as in Czechoslovakian. Found that 72% of women in long-term relationships fantasize about having sex with other men while they make love to their current partner. Thoughts?
Only 72%?
Okay.
Well, I say that because if people's minds wander. Things are going through there. You're going through it's more of a maybe you saw somebody cute when you were grocery shopping and pops into your head. I don't think it's particularly, that particular fantasy or something, against the person you're with. I think it's just the way brains work. Wow. I would find it difficult for anyone to be, I maybe if you take that tantric sex, seminar, you can maybe be completely and 100% in the moment.
Yep.
But I can't imagine too many people that aren't thinking, especially women, that are thinking about the 25,000 other things they have to do when they're done having the fun time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I think it all gets wrapped in there together. Separating it out, I don't think really it's that difficult. Do
you care to take a stab at what percentage of men think about other people while they're having sex with their current partner? Take a stab.
58.4.
98.
98. Okay.
98%.
Okay.
And one of the psych professors involved in the analytical data that led to the article said, hey, look, it doesn't mean that they're going to stray. It's just, part of keeping things novel and new. And they said, actually, it can just reinforce the relationship because it allows them to stay committed without needing to cross a line. And the last part of what they looked at that I thought was so interesting, and this has been a controversial topic forever, cuddling. So get this. Cuddling afterwards led to a 30% increase in reports of sexual enjoyment by women. And how many men, though? Men, too. Mm-hmm. They said, this was so interesting, 53% said that enhanced their satisfaction as well, even though men go, oh, I don't want to cuddle. But they do.
Oh, I think they're told they're not supposed to like it.
Okay.
Socialism, because socialized and stuff like that, because, if you're...
How you doing
Excuse
over
me.
there? You all right?
Okay. Put it this way. If you're not spending a few moments together afterwards, isn't it more just like mutual masturbation? I mean, were they just the tool? What was going on?
Yeah.
What was going through there?
Yeah.
No, mind you, I mean, if you're in an uncomfortable bed, or people are 1,000 degrees, or one person's hot, one person's cold, or going through there. I mean, sleep is an important component. If you can find two folks that can really sleep entwined to each other, that I think that's probably a very small amount of human beings.
We can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm really lucky. First guy in my, second. No,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're going through there, but just hanging out, or I mean, even like you're at the you walk over to, let's say, you go down to your local park and you're sitting on the bench. If you're next to each other holding hands, that says a lot more about what's going on in the relationship and this time you spent. Whereas if you wander down and you're both sitting, on opposite ends or something like that, or you're just sitting next to each other and not looking at each other, it's touching, non-sexual touching, I think says a lot more than the amount of sex that you're having.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of funny. Saturday was our 7-year anniversary. And we actually drove back up to our cabin, which we had been living in for 15 months. And it's a very long story, but we've reclaimed my house. I used to have tenants in there, and my house is not large. It's a cute little 50s Rambler, but it has over 2,000 square feet when you include the basement and stuff. But after living in 600, we're like, my God. I mean, it feels so huge, right?
Where are you? What's going on?
I know. Oh my God, there's another room. Oh my God, look, there's storage. It was really funny, but we sat down Saturday night in the tiny house and we were like recapping the last 7 years. And he kind of went into this dissertation about how he thinks the fact that we completely came out of that 15 months in tight quarters, okay, with 2 dogs and a cat, and we still like each other.
I know. No, see, that's important. Yeah, because you learn a lot. I mean, I was out the other day and I had the most adorable thing happen. And so I hold hands. We hold hands. My guy and I, we hold hands a lot. So we're out to eat. We're at Perkins in the middle of the day. And we're holding hands. And there's a woman in the table across from us, and she is ancient. I mean, there's no way that she's less than 85 years old. But she's dressed to the nines. She's got a jacket on, hair done. I see that she has a zebra print jacket on, a floral cane. And then I look over and I realize, I don't know what she's had before, but right now she's having a strawberry sundae and a glass of wine.
Nice.
So I'm like, I like her. I want to be here. I can't drink the wine. I'm allergic, or the ice cream. But my version of it would be like beer and apple pie. Okay,
there you go.
So there's my and we're sitting there, and I'm like, that's great. And so I see that she's about to get up, and she obviously goes there a lot because the servers like addressing her by name and saying, how's that going through there? She gets up, and I'm watching her out of the corner of my eye because she needs one more try. I'm going to go help her get out of the booth, but she makes it out.
Okay.
She comes over to the table and she goes, I just want you to know that I think 2 of you are the most adorable couple.
Aww.
We're just like, oh. I mean, it was the middle of the day. We were doing errands, this and that. We weren't even being like, we're sitting across from each other and completely casual, holding hands and having a conversation. And she had to come over, and they were like, well, thank you very much. And so I said, I was very impressed by your lunchtime choices. Then she goes, I've had a triple bypass and I survived cancer. I'm going to eat whatever I damn well want. And I said, I love you even more.
That's awesome. There's a book title.
It was just so, to have her come over and sort of see in public what I feel, what the two of us feel for each other was really cool.
That's cool.
And so I know she's a regular. Next time I go over there, I'm going to hand the waiters that next time she comes in, the ice cream and wine's on me.
That is really cute. There's a book title in there. When I am 85, I will wear zebra.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is a cool story. Well, good for you guys. Yeah. And what's funny about that, Colleen, and just for people who haven't maybe caught the show before, don't know. I mean, you and your guy have a very interesting relationship that works perfectly well for you.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't live together?
No.
And you don't plan to?
No.
That's so funny.
No. He's got his space and I've got my space. I'm raising a kid. I got cats, the whole deal. When my cats are insane. So, it just.
But he likes the cats, right?
Oh, yeah. He likes them. He never grew up with pets or anything, but, he was totally fascinating, and he'll get the toys out, play with it sometimes, which totally cracks me up. And the best part is when they come and like sit on him and he goes, no. I said, bet on me. He's like, no. They never let us realize. He just laughed. But it works out just fine. Everyone's got their space. I've realized a long time ago that there were just parts of me that want things the way that I want them. And that's all there is to it.
See, that's so honest, though. That's so cool. And I bet a lot more people could have more harmonious relationships if they weren't trying to fit into the description of what everybody else thinks it should look like.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons a lot of folks are designing new homes or carving out spaces where there's double master suites.
Yeah.
And especially folks that are getting married older or getting married again. Sometimes there's sleep issues or job issues or this or that. I mean, the idea of, we're not talking about the silliness of the twin beds of Dick Van Dyke. We're talking about, just having separate spaces so that when you do get together, you're there. You're not exhausted. You're not, one person might want to go to sleep early, one might late, but when they're, but they have their own spaces where they can actually sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I can see that. I have no.
There's a local, somewhat sort of celebrity. I won't say her name. Because she's not here to tell this about herself. She did do this on tape with me several years back, but she is married and has been for many, many years. She's probably in her upper 60s, maybe even early 70s by now. She and her husband have adjacent condos. Like not even just separate master suites in the same house. I mean, they each have their own condo. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. But she described how, it was just fantastic. I mean, it was one of the most interesting stories. So, to each his own.
I don't disagree with that concept. If it works for you, some people need to be, it would work for everyone. I'm not, there's no,
yeah.
If we really drop the one size fits all concept for people, there's only one way to do something. I think we'd be much happier as a species. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I agree. Not just in a particular society, as a race, humans. Yeah. Yes, I agree. So, somebody else who won't be sharing condos or much else going forward are Brad and Angelina. I bet you thought we were going to get through this hour without me bringing that up, didn't you?
I saw that. I'm like, maybe we can get to the other stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was, I was like, really, folks? I understand a distraction, but the way that people glom onto this is just so appalling.
Well, and I don't really give a rip because I'm, but truthfully, it does bug me that Angelina's, getting, he cheated on her and this, that, and that. She broke up 2 fucking marriages. She broke up Laura Dern's marriage to Billy Bob Thornton, and she took Brad away from Jennifer Aniston. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for her, and I don't care how much humanitarian work she does or, whatever. She is... Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, I just figure the lawyers are going to do well because it would have been so much easier if they actually hadn't gotten married 2 years ago.
Right. Well, supposedly, one of the headlines that I did not click on, they allegedly had a quote-unquote airtight prenup, which lawyers live to crack those suckers open and poke holes. But no, the funny story that I saw that kind of relates a little bit more to us, or not, is this guy, this Russian sex guru. He's a sex therapist.
I just like that. Russian sex guru.
Yeah. Yeah, what does that look like? He's actually a young guy. His name is Alex, spelled Aleks. Alex Leslie. And he's written a lot of books on seduction, and he does seminars around the world. Apparently, Mr. Leslie has a harem comprised of 7, boombalati women. And to soothe the heartbreak... he has offered to lend Brad Pitt his 7 best girls.
Oh, God.
And he said Pitt would be able to experience real passion following the breakup. And he said that they are better in bed than any non-Russian, and he invites him to visit Russia. But here's the best part. It gets better. Okay? And there's pictures of these gals, too. He does a video inviting Brad to Russia to cavort with the harem. It says, "Hi, Brad, I have a problem. I am going to Mars and have to leave my harem with somebody. I can only trust them with you, a trustworthy and good man," because he's going to Mars. I have so many questions.
He signed on to that one conglomerate, or there's 2 of them out there.
There's a video clip.
No, the folks that are going, sorry, I know that it's bad and I shouldn't, but I'm just sort of imagining him like, in the silky puffy pants and the boots and the little Russian hat. And I know it's stereotype and I know it's bad, but oh God, that's what I'm picturing in my head. It's wrong, wrongity, wrong. I know it's wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. On another note, there's Sarah Jessica Parker was in the news because she's doing a series that's airing in the UK. It begins in October, which I almost said next month, which is like 2 days away practically, which freaks me completely out.
I was having a conversation with friends the other day. We're like, it's been 16 years since this. Wasn't it just like a couple of days ago? And then someone posted another picture. And we're like, oh my God, that was 26 years ago. And none of us figures that more than 2 or 3 years have gone by.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, I'm that age, or I'm saying shit like that.
I know, it's terrifying, isn't it? Oh my God. Well, there may be another Sex and the City film in the offing. Well, and I'm sorry, but
they're cute. I went
the
and saw
second one was terrible. The first one was fantastic.
I mean,
the wedding.
Yeah, the wedding was pretty cool. The second one I went and saw just for the entertainment value of it, and I'm like, this is just like a whole bunch of vignettes. Does it mean anything? I'm like, what did they edit out? What did they forget to film? Because I don't see them. I don't see those 4 women looking at the script or anyone involved and thinking that's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
It didn't make that. I think they went and did their job, and then when it was done, that it was totally butchered beyond belief.
It was a bad movie. I mean, I'm sorry, and I adore the franchise. I mean, that was one of my favorite things of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, but that movie was I was embarrassed. I'm like, how did they approve that script? I think you have the best theory. I never thought of it that way. Mm-hmm. But I mean, even the jokes were bad. I mean, Kim Cattrall, Lawrence of my labia, because they were in the Middle East. Yeah. It's like, no. I mean, the whole thing was just so wrong on so many levels. Mm-hmm. But there may be another one. And, because she's out there promoting, obviously, that question about Sex and the City came up. And she said, here's her answer, very, very almost political. I think that remains an open question and discussion that will continue until it's been resolved. I think, listen to this part. I think that's always a possibility. Definitely. That's the quote.
It's always a possibility.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Always. I mean, really, if someone writes them a large enough check and the 4 of them can figure out when they can get together with some other folks and it's a half-ass script, most of them have children, you just put it in the damn bank. They don't have to work anymore.
No.
None. I'm pretty sure they're pretty much set for life if they have reasonable investments. Okay, but then again, very few people like to sit around on their ass. I mean, people, say, I love to retire or do this or that, and then they're bored out of their minds in like 2 freaking months.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too. Matthew Broderick's got, so many movies to his credit and whatever. And I love the fact that he has done so much Broadway in the last few years. I'm super sad that I didn't get to see him specifically in The Producers with Nathan Lane. That's one that I would have loved to have seen. But, who knows what she'll do. But I mean, the last one, when I saw that, I went, because I was so bummed. The first movie was so good and the second one was so bad.
Yeah, I can see them possibly doing it just to try and erase the memory of the second one. If someone can write something reasonable, because she's in her 50s now and Kim Cattrall's in her 60s. And so there is an awful lot of women that age, and we all grew up with this.
Yeah.
That if they actually did something appropriate about women still have sex and want to have it in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
It could be a very interesting film. And then especially with the fact that other films have come out now, like Bridesmaids and stuff like that was built on them, and then they can come back and build on what's available. I think they could write something interesting. That actually is
a really, Colleen, that's very thoughtful. I like that idea. Couple things before we wrap up that I really want to mention. They have found a drug-resistant gonorrhea in Hawaii. So gonorrhea is becoming a big problem again. In fact, a bunch of it is, and a bunch of the STDs are. And there's no shortage of stuff out there right now about the CDC is trying to tell everybody, don't go back on your practice of using condoms because we've got different things to worry about now.
Yes, these are other viruses and bacteria that are becoming not only chlamydia is doing the same way, syphilis is the same way, and gonorrhea. And I believe that they're down to like their last super antibiotic on some of these, and some of them just not working at all. And they just keep it at bay. And these are not. People don't think that they're serious. They are you can't just go get a shot of penicillin in your ass anymore. This stuff doesn't work. No. And it goes to your brain.
Syphilis will eat your brain.
Yeah. You got dementia. Yep. You've got body sores. This is not just, I don't feel very good and I've got a couple of blisters. These are serious diseases. Chlamydia, with women who don't have symptoms, we're talking about tons of infertility.
Yeah.
Because it messes up the whole system down there. And I'm like, condoms are important. There's a huge display everywhere. Yeah. We carry them as a convenience, but you can go to Costco and buy an enormous pack. David Sedaris buys like condoms and hands them out. And then you can get them free at Planned Parenthood. You can there's no, reason not to have a condom if you don't know completely and utterly that the folks are going through. And then, honestly, it's also a lot less messy.
Well, there's that.
If you want to go for the practical, concepts of it versus just all of the other lovely things, no disease and lessen pregnancy, because you still want to have another form of birth control generally with that.
Oh, for sure.
But it's also much easier cleanup.
Oh, yeah.
There's all sorts of serious and practical reasons for condom use.
Oh, absolutely. And so one of the things I just wanted to mention is that the last couple of weeks we've had, so much, just so much stuff to cover that we haven't gotten to this. And they're popping, the stories are getting more and more frequent. And I just felt like we really needed to.
We've posted one story. We'll repost another one. There's a lot of stuff over there. It's not just folks, running around with their heads cut off and stuff like that or Chicken Little. This is a very serious thing. And so if you hear anyone saying, I don't like using a condom still, or this or that's going through there, and they're not, and they're out there being, Tinder insane, they've got to be using condoms because they are not going to like when they can't, when they can't take care of whatever they pick up.
Absolutely. And it's, so that's our public service announcement. And ending on this note, have you seen, by the way, I think the campaign is fantastic for the HPV vaccination, where they regress the adult who has cancer down into child and asking, did you know mom, dad? Have you seen those?
No, I have not.
Oh my God. They take, this woman and I've seen one with a guy and one with a girl, and they regress them from they're in their 20s or something. And they go all the way back and to where you've got like an 11-year-old kid going, well, did you know mom, dad? It's like, wow. It was amazing. And I know that there's anti-vaccinators, but it's like, I can't imagine how anybody could possibly not be in favor of this.
No, people have said there hasn't been not enough studies, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's now been a couple of decades here and decades in the rest of the world. You were talking about a possible virus that could come to cancer and other infertility issues, and you wouldn't protect your child from it. I'm mind boggled over the folks that won't vaccinate. And I can't even have a sane discussion about it because it's so, put it this way, if it's sort of like, withholding medical treatment or something. They've said that you cannot do that. If you're over 18, you can stay with your body, but there's a lot of times where you can be overridden regardless of your views.
Okay.
And if you can, override someone's deeply held religious views to save a kid, and I'm going to say it, cockamamie. I read it on the internet views about this or that. I know people whose children have autism. They know damned well it was not from the vaccines. And I was like, they were, and they preface it this way, and I don't think they should have to. Even if it was from the vaccines, they would still do it because the side effects from the diseases like death
is
so much more than the autism. But the fact that they feel the need to say that always annoys me. That people have to couch that.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
Well, it's a really powerful ad campaign. I don't know who, it wouldn't surprise me if one of our fantastic heritage firms right here in Minneapolis came up with it because it's really, really compelling. So that is all we have time for this week on the Great Northern Sexcast. Colleen, good to see ya. And we'll be back. I've got a bunch of guests. The Minnesota AIDS Project is going to be in November. They're super booked up until then.
I'm very excited about that. They're going to be our charity of choice for Crypticon. We're going to have a party room there, and that means we're going to be setting up a sort of a pop-up store for the attendees of Crypticon, and you can pay to spin the wheel of prizes, and all the money goes to them. We've already set that up. That's the 14th, 15th, 16th of October. We've got Wicked, Wet, and Cal Exotic sent a lot of free product, including great movies from Wicked and just tons of stuff. So I think that folks are going to be very happy at Crypticon. The whole office is beginning to look very crypty because they're doing an old-fashioned
crypty.
Yeah, they're building the props for it, and all of the they're building big tombstones that are going to be used as displays and all this sort of stuff. And there's, painting them and then putting moss on them. And it's just...
See, it's too bad that nobody at Fantasy Gifts likes their job.
No, they love it. It's just fun because you get to have, it's just, you have to have something. We love doing Pride. We love doing Crypticon, some of the things we're doing, because I have very artistic employees.
You do. Mm-hmm. That's
and
to be sure.
And then they're like, oh, this is fun. I'm painting this,
Yeah. I think that's, actually, I think that's therapeutic. Mm-hmm. And that goes for workplace happiness and harmony, don't you think?
Oh yeah, you got to have things that break up the everyday. And and I'm not doing one of those people come in and do trust drop shit. We'll do Pride and Crypticon
and podcasts.
Because that other corporate stuff, like, no, I can't handle that corporate speak shit.
And we'll leave it on that note.
Have a great week.